And we're back
We are back.
at season 2. We learned so much in season 1. And so I'm really excited to be back to get to learn some more. I feel like this is like free consulting in some ways.
Absolutely. I'm really excited for this season. I think we're going to learn even more. We've got some really great speakers lined up, and I'm excited.
Yeah. So one of the things that we have started asking a lot of our guests here and there, and kind of wanted to I thought it would be great to start off this season with asking each other the question of who are you caring for? Because I know everybody out in the audience is caring for at least somebody. And you may not know, you've picked up pieces in season 1 of who we're caring for, but Melody, who are you caring for?
Well, I am a single mom of 2 girls, so I am caring for them 24/7. And my oldest daughter, Aria, is 12, and she has type 1 diabetes. So caring for her is a little bit different than my other child. As Marjorie knows, I have my phone with me all the time. I often have to edit out phone calls and text messages from school nurse and all of that because it is sort of just it's constantly on and on in my brain as well. So it's a different caregiving experience for her. And I think I can relate to people who are caring for their parents as well, where you're in a situation that you didn't envision and motherhood looks different than I thought it would. Mm-hmm. And for Aria, making sure she's okay is more than just, it's more than just how is your day? It's how's your blood sugar? And it's not just, hey, are you feeling okay? It's what's your trends been? And is your site okay? And do we have enough supplies to get us to the end of the month? And so there's a lot of additional levels and medical knowledge that I've kind of picked up over the last 10 years.
It's like crash course doctor school.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And I don't have any formal medical training, but I can go toe to toe with an endocrinologist for sure.
Nice.
So yeah, it's definitely, that's who I'm caring for. It's a constantly on kind of thing.
And with her being 12, it's a whole new set of adventures as she starts to become a little bit more independent or think she's more independent and all that kind of stuff as well.
For sure. And when she was little especially, there was a huge aspect of, who can we allow into the space and who's going to be safe to care for her. Mm-hmm. And I know that people caring for older adults deal with something similar where we're not just asking someone to watch them and keep an eye on them, but literally asking to help keep her alive in a very, very real way. So that kind of has limited our options as far as who is able to provide that relief to me and support to her. And certainly as she's getting older and doing more herself, that's becoming less of an issue. But I've been able to relate to some of our listeners having a very limited set of options as far as who can come in and help. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Absolutely. And your parents are still of the we're doing it ourselves age, but I know with the death party, you've got them planning, which is a huge step ahead of many of us.
Yeah.
Which is kind of nice too.
Yes. And I did say that I was going to have my plans all set and things done by the time we started season 2. And I'm sorry, guys, I have not. I am still working on it. But
you're working on it.
I'm working on it, and I'm aware of it, and my family's aware. So,
Those are some big steps. And I think that people take, they don't give themselves credit for the steps, because I think one of the things that Brian really talked about, this isn't something, or Brian Quinn from last season really talked about was, this isn't something that we do once and we're done. This is something that we need to look over constantly. We need to keep updating. So, the fact that you're working on it is a really huge step. And so I don't want any of our listeners or you to think, oh, gosh, I'm not finished with it, because it is one of those projects that will never be finished.
Right.
But it is a good idea to, go and, get all the signatures done soon.
Yeah, absolutely. So still working on that. Okay. But Marjorie, who are you caring for?
So I like to call myself like the backup caregiver for everybody. So
okay.
I've got 4 older adults in my life who I love very much and I'm caring for in different ways. So first up is my parents. They still live about an hour away from me, which is great. They're getting older. My dad has a pile of health problems. We don't have enough time in the podcast to tell you about all of the different problems that my dad has, and he will not admit to any of them. So my mom is his main caregiver, and he can care for himself in a lot of ways too. But we have a lot of ups and downs with his health. I think I mentioned on last year's show that he had some really major health problems with his heart late last year. Actually came out of that seeming like a new man. So, if you ever have a chance to get a quintuple bypass, do it.
Huge improvement.
Yeah. So my mom's his main caregiver, but I step in. And since his problems are often chronic, if something happens to my mom, he can help in some ways, but he can't really help too much all the time. And so with those major things, like a couple of years ago when my mom decided to get both knees replaced at the same time, which I actually would recommend. If anybody needs them both done, get them both done at the same time if you think you can do it, because she was up, she was walking the next day, she still needed help. She wasn't loading the dishwasher on day 2, but she was able to start doing a lot more around the house and didn't have that double downtime. So it was actually really good. I highly recommend the double knee replacement. But things like that, I can help with those sorts of things, going in and helping him out with that.
Yeah.
Or when, the caregiving for my dad becomes a lot, being part of that team. We also have my uncle who's 91. He actually lives about 5 miles from me, so he's close. Again, my mom's kind of his main caregiver, but I take care of a lot of the oh no stuff. So one time, when I think a lot of our listeners will remember, when it was very hot this summer, he called me. He's starting to get a little dementia, so he called me and he was very upset because we've talked to him about not messing with his thermostat because at 90 you really like it to be hot.
Yeah.
And when it's already hot, it doesn't need to be hotter. So don't mess with the thermostat. And he knows not supposed to, knows he doesn't want to, but sometimes we do things. And he was really upset because he had messed with it. He couldn't figure out what was going on. And so I stopped over there and he had turned the heat on.
Oh no.
And it was up to 90.
Oh.
And with the fan constantly running, and so those emergency things that don't seem like
like you got to get there quick.
Yeah. I don't need my parents driving an hour for that.
Right. Yeah.
But they're things that just need to be done really quick. So I do a lot of that. I also kind of back my mom up too when she's got other things to do. We are really lucky to have a couple of caregivers coming in and providing private duty home care.
That's great.
For him as well, because he's at the point where he needs somebody to actually cook for him. Now, this man is 90. In the time that he grew up, in the time that he was an adult, he did live the life where women took care of everything for him. So, when his wife passed away 20 years ago, we had to teach him how to boil an egg and make his own hamburgers. And so that's short-term memory stuff, and so that's all gone. So we get to help him out with a lot of that stuff. And so that's what a lot of his caregivers really do, is just make sure he has a hot meal every day.
Yeah.
And make sure it helps him bathe and things like that. So we're trying to do everything that we can to adhere to his wishes, to be able to live in his home for him, ideally until he dies, but for us as long as possible.
Yeah.
Because there is certainly that time when we don't know.
Right.
And then currently my mother-in-law, or almost mother-in-law, it's complicated, guys, lives across the street with my boyfriend. And, I'm the probably 12th favored caregiver, but, when she needs a little bit of help, I'm there. She is actually 89 and very healthy, healthier than most people that are, in their early 70s. So she's doing really great, and so able to help her. I'm also the 12th backup caregiver for my nephew as well. So if both sets of grandparents, other aunts and uncles, parents, friends' parents can't help, I'm down there on the list. But we mostly do fun stuff, which is good. It's nice to be able to do that kind of stuff.
As a parent, I fully understand. You got to have a hierarchy of, the preferred people, and then you've got a few backups just in case.
Yeah, I'm down on the list, and that's okay. My schedule is such that it's hard to catch me oh, hey, can you do something tonight? No, probably not.
Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Having a busy schedule, that'll put you down on the list for sure. For sure.
But are we desperate and we'll try? Yeah, sure.
No, it's nice to have someone you're caring for that you can do something fun with, though.
Yeah, exactly. And you can do fun stuff with my older adults, my parents, and we do a lot of going out to eat with those guys. But it's hard to go, okay, like, all right, I know you're having problems with your leg. Let's go to the zoo. We can't really do that with everybody. So
certainly there's some overlap, though, with fun things you can do with kids and fun things you can do with older adults. Let's have arts and crafts night. I mean,
that is my mom's favorite thing to do with my nephew when she has him is they always do an arts and crafts. They've been doing it since he was a little guy. He's 11 now. Actually, probably by the time this airs, he's probably gonna be 12.
Oh.
How's that happening?
I
know. But they always do some sort of arts and crafts, and they've done all kinds of really cute things that my mom never did with us as kids, and I just don't think it's fair.
You're like, Mom, we need to talk about this.
Yeah, exactly. So it turns out I'm not an arts and crafts person, and that could be the reason why.
She knew.
Yeah. So listeners, you're going to be hearing us ask all of our guests about who they're caring for, because I think it's a really good way for us to level set where everybody's coming from, because just about everybody that we talk to here at Voice is caring for somebody. That's part of the reason that you get into this sort of world.
Yeah.
And I think that's why a lot of people end up having a really big heart for older adults and for children, is because, we're part of a care team. And, sadly, nobody's paying for either of us to be on a care team. It'd be nice.
Yeah.
But,
nice.
then I guess I got to go back and get that medical degree. But I think that's been one of the things. And I think it was really cool. We did the survey last year. And thank you to all of you that responded. It really helped us. It helped us figure out some guests that we wanted to talk to. Because your questions, we were like, oh, I know the perfect person to answer this. So,
because if one person has that question, probably a few people do.
Exactly. So one of the big questions we got was somebody was listening to Brian Quinn talking about wills and estate planning and kind of future planning stuff. And one of our listeners wrote in, they were really concerned because they were like, yes, my parents should have done this. They didn't. Mm-hmm. And now they're getting older. I'm starting to see health problems. I think we might be headed toward the nursing home in a couple of years. But dad's still fine, mom's not fine. Mm-hmm. What do we do? I'm confused. We can't afford this.
Right.
And at Voice, this is a question we hear all the time.
All the time.
Because it's so common. I mean, and we see the sad versions of what happens there, and it can be messy without a professional. And so this year we're going to be bringing on Paul Gattner from the law offices of Amon Gattner Capriano, and he's going to be talking about Medicaid and the spend down, which is nothing to do with shopping. I mean, it could have something to do with shopping, but not the kind of fun shopping that anybody wants to do.
Yeah.
So he's going to be talking about that and how you can look at asset divisions and all these sorts of other legal things.
There's all kinds of tricks of the trade, which you really need a professional to be able to do that. And so he talks about that as well, which is going to be really great.
Which, I know a lot of people are thinking immediately, oh my gosh, it's going to be really expensive. But it is one of those things that actually helps you save money down the road. So definitely a good investment. What other questions did we get?
Yeah, we had one listener say that unfortunately they have a close family member who's been diagnosed with a terminal illness. We hate to hear that, but they were wondering what sort of next steps there might be in that process, or what do they need to know? And so we brought in Mike George, who has worked in the hospice industry for over 20 years. He is such a professional and really dives into why hospice should be brought in sooner rather than later, which I know so many of us think, oh, if it's hospice, then it's going to be over soon, which sometimes is true, but he teaches us that it's not always true, which is really fascinating.
It's not giving up on somebody. It's it's about honoring their life and giving them a chance to live in those final days, which that was a really cool conversation.
Yes, absolutely.
So another question that we had was somebody, it was one of our younger listeners, but her parents are turning 65. And her parents are not necessarily super versed in healthcare insurance, which, I mean, who of us
Who
are?
is?
Yeah. Unless, you get the lucky chance to get to pick that for your employees every year. So, but they got the book of Medicaid and have no idea what to do, like don't even know what to look for, trying to help their parents sort through this, but don't really know what to do.
It's got to be intimidating.
So we got a really great guest for that too.
Yes. Yeah. We have Diane Finnisted Ellis, who's coming in. She's going to talk to us about Medicare and just where to start. Just very initial information, but it is really good information. And I think all of our listeners are going to benefit from hearing her talk about that.
Yeah. It was one of those things that like I started looking at Medicaid. And so far I have not gotten too deep in that in my caregiving journey because my mom is still handling that. God bless my mom. But we do get that big book every year and you've got A, B, C, D, E, F, and you're like, wow, what is this? And Diane explained it so well. I believe she has some karaoke lined up. So we're very excited for that. What other questions do we have?
So let's see. We had someone else who, unfortunately, listen, these sad questions, it's tough. But we had someone.
We're all going through it too.
Yes. Yes. So we're here to help you for sure. So dad passed away and they're looking for help for mom because they're worried about loneliness setting in. They're seeing mom be alone for the first time really in her life. And so how can we support that process?
Yeah. And that's such a tough question. I always feel like because loneliness, isolation, it's hard on everybody that's close to that person because that person may lean a little bit more on the couple people that are left. But also the people need to have lots of different type of people in their lives, whether that's super close friends or something else. And, that's why I hate the name of it, but I love the senior centers, where older adults can kind of all get together and talk about, things, play games together, just kind of have some fellowship. I know that especially like our baby boomers are like, absolutely not. I will not be going to a senior center, but they've changed so much over the last several years. Actually, I was talking to my mom again and her, the senior center near their home was just advertising that they were doing a night out at the Muni where they're going to bus everybody from their hometown out to the Muni, get them dinner out, go out to that's a fun night. That is not like a night for, the oldest of the old to, play bingo. Like that's kind of giving your life back.
Yeah.
So I, that's the one I always tout as like, what kind of clubs are serving older adults and like, don't be afraid of being an older adult, I think is one thing. But we do have Janice, who's actually part of Voices team, coming in. She's going to be talking about that mental health, loneliness, social isolation. And the other thing that Janice talks a lot about is elder abuse and elder justice, because your being abused as an elder goes up, the more lonely, the more isolated you are, because there aren't as many people in your life watching out for you. So Janice is going to talk all about that, and I think it's going to be really great.
Yeah, she is such a great speaker. And so super important conversations to be having. Let's see, what else did we have? Some questions about early stages of hearing loss.
Well, I know about that one.
Yeah.
Actually, my uncle has very bad hearing too. Like you name it, he's got it. But my parents did go to actually the Center for Hearing and Speech, who is going to be our guest talking about this. They got their ears checked, which is part of their insurance package that they have. I don't know if it's A, B, C, D, E, F, G, Medicare, but it was covered.
Diane can help.
Yeah, and my dad came out, and the one thing that is not wrong with him apparently is his hearing.
Wow.
And, now he tells me that they're sending him an award for having the best hearing they've ever seen.
Okay.
I don't think they give that out, but he says that's what's going on.
It's in the mail, Marjorie. Yeah. It's in the mail.
Yeah. My mom also passed her test, so no hearing aids for us just yet. But this organization also really did help my uncle as well. They're an incredibly patient organization. I think we're going to learn a lot from them about hearing aids and fittings and, over the counter versus custom and so many different things. There's a lot there to know. And I think the one thing we all see is, oh my gosh, it's so expensive, but what are we losing?
Absolutely. And I think that ends up affecting some other physical health things as well. So that's going to be a really interesting conversation too. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. So we've got a lot coming up this year.
A lot. It's going to be so good.
And then at the end of the season, we're going to be back here answering your questions again. So keep them coming.
Yeah.
Feel free to email us at mfox@voicestl.org. Send them all to Melody.
Yes.
Or if you see a post on Voice's Facebook page or our Instagram or our LinkedIn, feel free to put them there and we'll incorporate them into the show as well.
Yeah.
So many different ways to do. Or if you're listening on any of the platforms right now and just want to throw your question into the reviews with a 5-star review, that's fine too.
5 stars only.
Yeah. But I'm really looking forward to this next new season.
Yeah, me too.
So we will see you all with our first episode coming in just 2 weeks.